What is happening, guys? It's your boy TC back with another video. So this is episode 2 of season 4 in the Daily Gunners Talk series. I thought I'd bring you two stories really. I did miss the Manchester United review. Weren't too keen on putting it out. A very terrible result. However, that will be one of the stories that we will be discussing within this episode, as well as the fact that Perisic looks like he's going to be making his way to Arsenal, and as well as the fact that Xhaka was being hounded by fans after the Man United game. Extremely disappointing scenes, of course. He had his wife in the car, etc. So we will also be talking about that. So let's talk about Perisic, really. So we know that Perisic is certainly looking like he's going to be inbound at Arsenal, and it looks like the move is certainly on the cards. However, different reports are surfacing, different stories are coming out as usual, as we all know. But main media outlets are essentially reporting on the fact that Perisic is obviously heading towards Arsenal, and he's supposedly handed in a transfer request as well at Inter Milan. So this season he's only made, I do believe, about 16 appearances within the league, which is not a bad amount of appearances to make really for a winger. However, he's obviously handed in a transfer request. Inter Milan want to get rid of the player on a permanent basis, but we know Arsenal are in the market for loan players. So I do believe a loan deal has been tabled by Arsenal, which will bring the player over to Arsenal with an option to buy in the summer. But again, with someone of his age, of course, good player, don't get me wrong, but the guy's 30 years old in a few days, on the 2nd of February to be precise. And essentially, if we commit to buying him in the summer, the club will have to offer him a short-term deal. I don't believe he's going to be effective enough moving forward as a short-term fix and someone to give a team the boost. Yes, that would certainly be a massive option for the team moving forward. However, as a long-term individual that will obviously contribute to the team, that's very doubtful in my opinion. Again, as I said, a very good player. He was one of those key players that destroyed England in the World Cup when they played in the semi-finals. So we do know of him here over in England. Of course, we've seen him play at a high level. Of course, Croatia ended up losing in the final. It was a terrible loss for them, of course, but he was extremely instrumental, vital in terms of what Croatia achieved at that particular World Cup. And he was very energetic, bombing up and down that left wing. And I do believe if he was to come into the Arsenal team, he will certainly bring that energy into the team itself. So of course it is a signing that I would obviously welcome, and as mentioned, as a short-term fix, yes, he's a player that will certainly be able to welcome into the club. So as mentioned, the main media outlets in the UK are obviously reporting on this, as well as David Oysteen, who's the crucial or the most accurate resource for Arsenal transfer news. BBC is reporting on this, as you can see from the images on the screen now. Sky Sports News have certainly also reported on this. So it's obviously a developing story. There's not many days left in the window. We just have to wait and see how this one develops. However, another side to this story is actually mentioning that Mesut Ozil will be heading the opposite way to Inter Milan. If that's true, I don't believe that would be a good deal in terms of the swap in the players, but it does look like Unai Emery, as I've said in previous videos, Unai Emery is not keen on Mesut Ozil whatsoever. And apparently Ladbrokes have actually slashed the odds on Mesut Ozil moving over to Inter Milan and Perisic coming the other way. In most cases, bookies do know what's actually going down behind the scenes. So when you start seeing odds being slashed and all that kind of behaviour taking place from the bookies, then you know that something is certainly imminent, or maybe in some cases that the bookies are certainly covering themselves just in case the deal does go through. But of course, as mentioned, the key part to this particular transfer rumour is the player has handed in a transfer request. Main media outlets are reporting on this, and the bookies have certainly slashed the odds. So of course, we'll certainly keep you updated in regards to developments on this particular story, but fingers crossed we can get him in this particular window. So in regards to the Man United review, which I obviously didn't put out on the day of the game, what can I say? Terrible defeat. We suffered 2 horrific injuries, I should say. Socrates is now out up until the end of February, which leaves us short in defence, as well as the fact that Koscielny is being assessed on a day-to-day basis. It was a suspected broken jaw in regards to Koscielny. However, supposedly it's just severe bruising, so he's getting assessed on a day-to-day basis, but it's leaving us extremely short in defence. Only options left really are Nacho Monreal and Mustafi. Mustafi came on, and as soon as he came on, the game completely changed. Socrates, you can tell how vital Socrates has been in the last few weeks, or the last couple of months if you want to say that. He has been organising the defence. Him and Koscielny had come up with a good understanding. However, as soon as Mustafi came on, the whole game changed. Koscielny got injured, the whole game turned on its head. So of course we were 2-1 down at half time. Aubameyang got the only goal for us, but essentially our efforts weren't enough on the day. It was a terrible result. Jesse Lingard running about in the Emirates, dancing around, wasn't a good sight. And the most annoying thing was the fact that Alexis Sanchez returned and he scored at the Emirates. Of course, the celebrations were slightly a little bit subdued. There weren't those type of Adebayo kind of celebrations running the full length of the pitch. It wasn't anything like that. But the fact that he scored, he wasn't even having a brilliant game, of course. But essentially, he ended up getting on a score sheet. We ended up losing, and we're out of the cup competition. So that is that for that review. I'm not going to go into too much detail in regards to that. But the other story that we'll be talking about is the fact that Granit Xhaka was hounded by fans after the game. It wasn't a good sight to see. He was with his wife in the car, and essentially it seemed as if he was being provoked by these chaps that were around him. And the person who was essentially filming, the person that ended up releasing the video, was just telling him that basically, we love you, Xhaka. Of course, we have our opinions in regards to football. But when it becomes personal and you're insulting the person face to face, that becomes a completely different matter. Xhaka could have felt threatened. He could have put his foot down on the gas at the car, and he could have sped off, and it could have been an ugly sight. But of course, it wasn't a very nice scene to see. And you could hear Xhaka telling that particular individual to shut up. Of course, he reacted. He should have known slightly a little bit better that people will be out to bait him out and sort of try and get a reaction from him. But of course, the situation wasn't uncalled for. So essentially, it wasn't a good sight to see. But that's the whole situation overall in a nutshell. But this is episode 2 of season 4 of the Daily Gunners Talk. As usual, please do let me know what you think in the comments below. If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to the channel, please do make sure that you do hit that subscribe button. So once again, guys, it's your boy TC from I'm Gonna Talk TV, and I'm out.